The Birth of a Tiny Giant. Vatican City's Remarkable Story. Introduction. A nation unlike any other. On June 7, 1929, a treaty signed in Rome forever altered the political and spiritual geography of the world. Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, acting on behalf of King Victor Emmanuel III, formally recognized the independence of a new sovereign state, Vatican City. This agreement, known as the Lateran Treaty, ended decades of tension between the Catholic Church and the Kingdom of Italy. From that moment forward, the Catholic Church, long dispossessed of its vast papal states, possessed once again a tangible homeland, though one unlike any other nation on earth. At just 121 acres, 49 hectares, Vatican City instantly became the world's smallest independent country. To put its size in perspective, it is about 1/8 the size of New York's Central Park. Its permanent population remains under 800 people, smaller than many apartment buildings in modern cities. Yet, within this minuscule territory lie treasures of immeasurable cultural, spiritual, and artistic significance. This is the story of how Vatican City came into being, why it is considered a true geographical oddity, and the many fascinating aspects of life within the walls of the smallest, yet perhaps most influential, country in the world. Chapter 1. From Empire to Papal Power. The roots of Vatican City stretch far back into antiquity. Long before it became a sovereign state, the Vatican Hill was part of ancient Rome's suburban landscape. In the 1st century, the site was associated with the martyrdom of St. Peter, the apostle considered by Catholics to be the first pope. According to tradition, Peter was crucified in Nero's circus and buried nearby. Over the following centuries, a shrine grew over Peter's tomb, eventually culminating in the construction of St. Peter's Basilica in the 4th century under Emperor Constantine. As Christianity spread and eventually became the state religion of the Roman Empire, the Vatican area emerged as a spiritual center. By the Middle Ages, the papacy was not only a spiritual authority, but also a political power. The Papal States, a vast swath of territory across central Italy, were governed directly by the popes for over 1,000 years. But this power was challenged in the 19th century with the unification of Italy. In 1870, Italian troops seized Rome and annexed the Papal States, leaving the Pope confined within the Vatican. For nearly 60 years, the papacy lived in what was called the Roman Question, a state of tension where the popes refused to recognize Italian authority and declared themselves prisoners in the Vatican. The stalemate ended only in 1929, when the Lateran Treaty resolved the issue once and for all by creating an independent Vatican City. The Holy See, the governing body of the Catholic Church, once again had a territorial foundation. Chapter 2. The Lateran Treaty and the Birth of a State. The Lateran Treaty was signed at the Lateran Palace on June 7, 1929. Mussolini, though a dictator, saw political advantage in ending the long-standing dispute. For the Church, the treaty represented both compromise and victory. The Pope gave up claims to the Papal States, but secured sovereignty over Vatican City. This arrangement created a unique political structure. Vatican City is a monarchy, but not a hereditary one. Its ruler is the Pope, elected for life by the College of Cardinals. Unlike other monarchs, the Pope's authority is both spiritual and temporal, and his government, the Holy See, is recognized internationally as the embodiment of Catholic leadership. The new nation was, and remains, remarkable in its limitations. It has no industries, no agriculture, and no traditional economy. Its income comes primarily from donations, known as Peter's pence, investments, tourism, and sales of stamps, coins, and publications. Though tiny, the Vatican quickly became a symbol of stability and independence, reinforcing the Church's claim to universality. Chapter 3. The World's Smallest Nation. The most famous fact about Vatican City is its size. At 121 acres, it is smaller than many shopping malls or golf courses. Its boundaries are clearly marked by Renaissance and Baroque walls built centuries earlier, enclosing a world apart from bustling Rome. Its population, usually under 800 residents, is composed primarily of clergy, members of religious orders, Swiss guards, and a few lay workers. Citizenship is not acquired by birth, but is granted temporarily to those serving the church in official roles. When someone's service ends, so does their citizenship. This leads to one of the strangest features of Vatican City. It has a birth rate of 0. Few women live within its walls, and no hospitals exist there. Children are not born in the Vatican. Instead, citizenship is always tied to function. This reality makes Vatican City an anomaly in international law. Yet despite its size, the Vatican is home to some of the most important religious and cultural sites in the world. St. Peter's Basilica, the largest church in Christendom. The Sistine Chapel, with Michelangelo's ceiling and Last Judgment. The Vatican Museums, stretching over 4 miles, 6.8 kilometers, with more than 70,000 works of art. The Vatican Apostolic Library, a treasure trove of manuscripts and rare books. Chapter 4. The Swiss Guard, Protectors of the Pope. One of the most distinctive sights in Vatican City is the presence of the Pontifical Swiss Guard, whose soldiers wear striking Renaissance-style uniforms of blue, red, orange, and yellow. Founded in 1506 by Pope Julius II, the Swiss Guard is among the world's oldest military units still in operation. Originally, Swiss mercenaries were prized across Europe for their discipline and bravery. The Pope recruited them to defend his person and his residence. Today, the Swiss Guard consists of about 125 men. Requirements for joining are strict. Recruits must be Swiss Catholic men, aged 19-30, unmarried, and willing to dedicate themselves to protecting the Pope with their lives. Though they may appear ceremonial, the Swiss Guard is in fact a modern, elite security force trained in contemporary protection techniques. Their halberds, the medieval-style weapons they often hold, are largely symbolic, but behind the scenes, they also use modern firearms. The Guard's most famous sacrifice occurred in 1527, during the sack of Rome, when most of its members died defending Pope Clement VII, buying enough time for him to escape through a secret passageway. Chapter 5. The Secret Escape Route. That passageway, known as the Passetto di Borgo, remains one of the Vatican's hidden marvels. Built in the late 13th century, it is an elevated corridor nearly half a mile long, linking the Vatican to the Castel Sant'Angelo, a fortress on the banks of the Tiber River. Twice in history, it saved a pope's life. In 1494, Pope Alexander VI fled through it during the French invasion of Rome. In 1527, Pope Clement VII used it to escape when imperial troops stormed the city. The Passetto embodies the Vatican's paradox, a tiny state with enormous vulnerabilities, yet equipped with hidden means of survival. Chapter 6. The Vatican Museums, a cultural treasure. No description of Vatican City is complete without acknowledging its vast museums. The Vatican Museums, established in the 16th century by Pope Julius II, represent one of the greatest collections of art in human history. The museums encompass 26 distinct institutions within the Vatican, displaying everything from classical sculptures to Renaissance masterpieces, ethnological artifacts, and modern religious art. Taken together, their galleries extend over 4.3 miles, 7 kilometers. The crown jewel, of course, is the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo's ceiling, painted between 1508 and 1512, depicts scenes from Genesis with breathtaking power. Later, between 1536 and 1541, he added the monumental Last Judgment behind the altar. Visitors often describe standing beneath the ceiling as a transcendent experience. Each year, millions of tourists walk the museum corridors, making the Vatican one of the most visited cultural destinations in the world. Chapter 7. Life inside the walls. Life within Vatican City is unlike life in any other country. Its residents are almost entirely clergy, religious workers, or security personnel. Lay citizens are rare and usually serve in key administrative or professional roles. Because citizenship is tied to office, many residents come and go depending on their assignments. A cardinal working in the Roman Curia may live in the Vatican for years, while a Swiss Guard's citizenship ends when his service concludes. The economy of the Vatican is small but functional. It issues its own euro coins, prints postage stamps, and sells souvenirs to the millions of visitors who pass through each year. Donations from Catholics worldwide, known as Peter's Pence, also support its finances. Interestingly, the Vatican has no official taxation system. Its budget is maintained through a mix of contributions, investments, and commercial activity linked to tourism. Chapter 8. Science and the Stars. Despite the Church's complicated history with science, the Vatican has long supported astronomical research. In 1891, Pope Leo III founded the Vatican Observatory, Specula Vaticana, to demonstrate that the Church embraced scientific study. Originally located near St. Peter's, the observatory later moved to Castel Gandolfo, the papal summer residence. But light pollution from Rome made observations increasingly difficult. In 1981, the Vatican established a second observatory in Tucson, Arizona, partnering with the University of Arizona. The Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope on Mount Graham remains a state-of-the-art facility, allowing Vatican astronomers to continue studying the heavens. The presence of a Vatican telescope in the deserts of Arizona is a striking reminder of how this tiny state maintains a global reach. Chapter 9. Symbol of Continuity. Beyond its quirks and curiosities, Vatican City carries immense symbolic weight. It represents the continuity of the Catholic Church, the world's largest Christian denomination, with over 1.3 billion members worldwide. For pilgrims, Vatican City is not merely a state, but a sacred destination. Millions come each year to pray at the tomb of St. Peter, attend papal audiences, or witness major liturgical events in St. Peter's Square. Politically, the Vatican is unique in its diplomacy. The Holy See, not Vatican City per se, maintains diplomatic relations with over 180 states. The Pope serves as both a religious leader and a head of state, offering a moral voice in global affairs. Chapter X. A tiny nation, a vast influence. When Mussolini signed the Lateran Treaty in 1929, he probably did not foresee just how enduring and influential Vatican City would become. What was created as a small compromise between church and state has endured as a powerful symbol of faith and independence. Though only 121 acres, Vatican City embodies nearly 2 millennia of history, faith, art, and diplomacy. From the soaring dome of St. Peter's to the quiet libraries housing ancient manuscripts, from the bright uniforms of the Swiss Guard to the silent stars observed through the Vatican telescope, it is a place where paradoxes coexist. Tiny yet vast, ancient yet modern, spiritual yet political. It remains, to this day, one of the world's greatest oddities, and one of its greatest treasures. Thanks for subscribing and like for more history and culture.